Well, it's a big treat for us here on the Rod Pedersen Show. I can speak for Darren DuPont to welcome from the Saskatchewan Rush, number 77, Jeff Shattler into the bunker. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, fellas.
We had mentioned that we're big fans of yours. I became an even bigger fan when I realized you've moved to the Queen City here and opened a lacrosse academy.
I did. We moved out here about 2 months ago, moved the family, my two boys. We're really enjoying it. A little different. We don't get the Chinooks like we did in Calgary. It's a little bit colder this morning driving in, but we're getting used to it. We're getting, we're adapting. The one problem is we got to drive 2.5 hours to get down to Saskatoon to play, but I'm hoping they'll figure that out and fly me out instead.
Say, at least you're not flying, but maybe you will be. You know, it's funny because I was picking up my coffee this morning. It was -4, and I thought it was a little nippy. And I thought, this is what it's going to be like for Grey Cup. That's what they're saying for the forecast for Calgary. By the way, Jeff, it's going to get a hell of a lot colder.
I know.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
You played in Saskatoon long enough.
Saskatoon, yes, but I'm always in and out. Last year we started the academy, so I started really realizing that minus 50 weather is not well.
It's ridiculous.
It's
wrong.
My truck is crying.
I know. Yeah. Look, I want to get back to the lacrosse academy in a minute, but first, the season's here. So how are we feeling about the Rush? Because I know last year was the earliest your season had ended, like almost forever.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't the outcome that we were looking for last year against Colorado. But when you play a team 4 times in a season, they're bound to get you. So that's what happened to us. And in one gamer, you gotta give everything and put everything on the line. So it was unfortunate the way it all worked out. But we are stronger than ever. We have 2 guys coming back into the lineup that we lost last year to the fire department. We have some first-round picks that are going to be stepping in. Our team looks really, really strong. So I think we're going to go into Colorado and give them a rude awakening.
That's fun. Cornwall, right? Coming back.
Yes, Cornwall and Ryan Dilks, he's back too.
Yeah.
So our team, like that, on our defensive end, it really got strong. Our offensive end, we got Connor Robinson probably stepping into the lineup now as well. So we got a couple young guys that are putting some fresh blood into the lineup, and I think we're gonna be really, really good this year. I know there's a lot of teams that are stacking up as well, with the 2 new teams coming into the league again. But I think there's gonna be more and more teams coming in, and guys like myself going in my 15th year, it feels like I could play till I'm 40 if all these teams keep coming in.
That's awesome. And by the way, for those that don't know, Darren and I were telling the guys here that didn't know who you were, I said, this guy's an absolute animal. He's a beast. And when you did win the championship, were you embarrassed that you were photographed with a Great Western in each hand? You shouldn't have been.
No, great beer. And everyone loved it except for my wife. My wife's in the background. Put the beers down, put out the cigar, but I loved it. It was my moment.
It was real.
Yeah, I loved it.
It was real.
Yeah.
Actually, I sat beside her, I told you, with, what's your oldest, Jace?
Jace.
I sat beside them at a game, and I didn't know who she was. I said, which one's yours? I pointed to the players, and she says, 77 Shattler. She's proud, right? Yeah, and then you came up during the game and pounded the glass in front of her, and she's holding your little guy. It was kind of a cool moment. I love the Rush games. And by the way, I don't know if you've become a Rider fan since you've been living here, but Cody Fajardo said the other night that when his pass hit the upright on the last play of the game, it was dead silent in the stadium. It reminded me, sorry to bring this up, but of the Mammoth scoring in overtime last year, because I was there. Yeah. SaskTel Center, 15,000 strong.
Yeah, it was
a pin drop.
I was leaning against the boards in the offensive end. I didn't even bother running back because Caputo was gone. And when he scored, you could just hear the silence, the pin drop, and I was heartbroken. Everybody else was, and hardest part was trying to walk to the dressing room and just taking it all in, like what just happened. But that's just sports, right? So got to suck it up and move on to the next one. So this year we're going to be bigger and stronger, and I just can't wait to play in front of our fans. Fans are nuts there, as you know.
Yeah.
Our fans are absolutely crazy. 4th period comes around, the cocktails are spinning, and
I was going to say nobody's paying attention to the game by the 4th.
They're just loving the party. So it's a great atmosphere, even for my boy. My boy has fun. He loves the mascots, and he's super excited. Loves lacrosse. First word goal. Loves lacrosse. Loves a slash hit. He just loves sports. So I'm excited to play in front of my boys again.
That's super cool. What makes Regina a place to want to set up your academy?
I just saw that there was a a need for someone to come out here and teach the game of lacrosse. I know in Saskatoon they have, it's really, really big, but out here we're just trying to grow the game here in the southern side of Saskatchewan, and I think there's a great opportunity, with all these southern teams from Swift Current to Moose Jaw to Weyburn, all these teams, there's no support out here, so I thought, why not come out here instead of Saskatoon? So that's what we did. We set up here, and it's really, really exploding. The academy is rocking. We're turning down offers right now. But we have some rookies that are going to be moving to Saskatoon, and they're willing to help out the academy, and they're going to be brought on board to expose the game a little bit more in the south.
That's cool. Really cool.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Well, my whole thing, and we were talking about this in the commercial break, Saskatoon versus Regina, and it's so nuts in Saskatoon, but I was there for almost 10 years, and now coming to Regina for the last year and a bit. Regina's a sports town. It's a sports and politics town, and Saskatoon is still very much the events town and the events and culture town. And for me, lacrosse is still, and the Rush are still an event, a massive event, more than a sport in that community right now. So that you talk about the party, the event, we all know what's going on, and we're all into the game, but we haven't learned the game yet. And I look back and think, okay, well, the TV networks.
Wait till we do.
Wait till we do. And that's what I'm trying to say. So we talked about the networks picking up the games. TSN used to show Toronto Rock games out here, a few times a year, and we had that. And everybody talks about, well, if the networks picked it up and if the sponsors picked it up, the game would be bigger. We got to be patient. We didn't grow up watching lacrosse night in Canada. We grew up watching hockey night in Canada. But the things you're doing now with the Lacrosse Academy, the SWAT in Saskatoon, all the junior programs, all the kids that are playing, when those kids become adults, they're going to be craving the games. And when they're craving the games, the networks will hear that, and then they'll want to pick it up.
You know what this reminds me of?
Sure.
And then it'll become a sport, right?
When my dad was working for the Stars and they moved from Minnesota to Dallas in '95, and my dad would go to Dallas and listen to these Americans watching hockey, the Dallas Stars, and he'd come back and laugh. He's like, they don't know what an offside is. They don't know what icing is. Funny listening to them talk. Well, then I go to Rush games, and I think I got a better handle, Jeff, than at the start.
Yeah.
But you guys are literally... like you're killing each other. You're breaking sticks over each other and like punching the hell out of each other. Goalie's coming out of the net, Evan Kirk, and running guys over, or at the time, Aaron Bold. And then they call a penalty 5 minutes later. And I'm like, what could you possibly be penalizing somebody for?
Yeah.
But it was obstruction. Can't hold the guy up. It's all about free-flowing stuff, right?
Yes, it's what they call it the fastest game on 2 feet for a reason.
Yeah.
It's stop, go. The whistle is always just possession calls and go. You drop the ball, gotta go. So there's a lot of action going on. A lot of people don't understand that you can't slash or cross check below the waist or above the shoulder. If anything above or below those, obvious penalty. You can't two-hand a guy and take off his arm. I guess you could if the ref's not looking. But there is a lot of action. And me being a kid, being a troublemaker as a kid growing up, my mother saw an opportunity for me to let out a lot of steam, and that's what I did.
And you still are.
I still am, yeah.
I was going to say.
Very fortunate to keep playing. I do love the game of lacrosse, and like I said, 15 years in the league. I look back and I was the youngest kid going into the league, and now I'm one of the oldest. And the body still feels good. I'm excited for the next season, but I want to play as long as I can, and at least until my boys know exactly what it is. They just say goal, slap the glass because they see all the fans cheering. But I want them to know that this is what their dad did. So that's my big thing, right? So today's actually, I want to give a shout out to my little man Jace. It's his birthday, number 2.
Wow,
second birthday. Proud of that little man. He's gonna be a stud growing up for sure.
Well, when I go to all these little towns to speak, whether it be in schools or sports banquets, I'm not joking when and I'm talking everywhere across Saskatchewan. I see kids out playing on the playground playing lacrosse, and it doesn't. I don't wish they were playing football or hockey. I'm glad they're doing something. But that better be a message to some of the other sports. This is what's happening in your province. Lacrosse is literally, from what I can see, taking over.
I think it will be. Lacrosse, when it came to Alberta, when I first got to Alberta as a rookie, there was only maybe 500 kids playing. And within 5 years, with the Roughnecks being in town, it tripled in size. And the same thing is going to happen here. It really is. It's exploding. It's going across the province. Kids are getting better. And we got some big farm boys out here, man. I've been traveling around with the Tri-Lacrosse program and out in even Standing Buffalo when I'm out there. A lot of talented kids that are around, and they're, they love the sport. They love the game. It's something new to these kids. And like you said, let's keep them active. Instead of staying off their video games and whatnot, let's get them outside and be active, right? Healthy lifestyle.
Why do you think the Rush have been so popular, particularly in Saskatoon, although I know there's like 20 buses come from all over the province for every home game. Why do you think it just caught fire like that?
I think it's because Bruce Urban puts on a good show. You know, the music's playing. It's not like a hockey game where it's quiet. The music's playing all the time. You know, you got live bands at half. You know, you got fireworks, mascots, cheerleading squad. Like it's a circus over there. It's a great show. You guys have seen it yourself. And there's always something going on. So Bruce has really put a good product out there, and people love it. And you know what? It doesn't hurt us winning. You know, if we've won 3 of the last 5 years, that doesn't hurt, your fan base.
See, and they figured it out right from the beginning, and we talked about this. They put in the work in the marketing department. The town was covered in green and Rush colors, and the Rush are coming, and the Rush just won, and the championship team moving to Saskatoon, and this was everywhere. And then when you came to the show, the first day, it met and exceeded every expectations with all the things you talked about during the game, and then people just want to keep coming back.
And they just want to keep coming back, and the beers are cold, right? So people love drinking at the old Rush games. And it is. I'll tell you, even on the floor playing offense, I can't hear myself think by the fourth quarter. First quarter, a little bit loud. It is loud in there. It's rocking. But fourth quarter, you're just like, what is going on?
You probably wish you were up in the stands.
But it's opposite from football, right?
Yeah.
You want to make a noise when you have the ball.
When you have the ball.
When you don't, that's when you want them to be quiet.
Our fans are they're just loud. All around, they're loud. And especially when you add in the music, it's really, really tough, even for our defenders to hear each other. Pick open. They're like, I didn't hear you. Like you got to scream in the guy's ear, right? So we love our fans. We love where we're at. But the big thing is we want to try to grow it more in Regina, spread it around the whole province. There's a lot of love for our team out here, and there's a lot of love for the Riders as well. So it's 2 of the best shows, and with the Pats too as well. So it's a big sports town, as you said, and I'm learning all that right now. I'm new to Saskatchewan, but we're starting to adapt and get used to it. The only thing I need is a big parka. Get a parka and I'll be okay. I'll miss the Chinooks.
We'll get a sponsorship. You will miss them big time.
Yes.
And it should let you know, I don't think this is a normal November to have this weather always above zero.
This is nice.
This is nice.
It's
nice.
often like minus 25 this time of year.
I can't wait.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.